There's 3 levels of sales. There's level 1, which is pain, so I have shoulder pain. Level 2 is participation, which is it's preventing me from doing XYZ. I have shoulder pain that's preventing me from working out. Level 3 is the personal or identity level. I have someone that charges $375 a visit. Like, she's so low and makes $700K a year. But like, owners are busy, everybody's busy, and so we do call review feedback so that way we can actually hear the tonality, we can hear the things that like you don't necessarily pay attention to, or we can kind of teach you how you could overcome objections ahead of time instead of at the very end we're now trying to fight these people on going all cash or whatever that happens to be. And you'll hear some of those other terms of like, oh, maybe I could, I should, it might work, all those things, which are all uncertainty-based language patterns that someone's probably going to no-show the actual visit. Or they're going to say stuff that inherently tells you that they actually don't think physical therapy works. And most people then try to actually say why they're different, when in reality, we can actually label them having tried physical therapy and other things before as something that's a positive thing. It's like, oh,
Okay.
like you tried physical therapy before and like it didn't work. Well, the good thing is like now we at least know what does work and what doesn't work. And so for you, like maybe tell me a little bit more about like what you did like about it. What did you not like about it? And for realize like, because we're already a couple steps ahead, because there's some people that come in, we're a fresh slate and we have to figure out all the different things of what did or didn't work. So you're already a couple steps ahead. So that's really good that you've already done this. You'd be surprised how many people would have tried something and just said, no, it doesn't work, and then never tried again and had to live with it for the rest of their life. So I'm glad that you're here. It makes sense. So you labeled someone as, hey, you didn't actually quit. You're not the type of person who quits. Most people would have. So it's you say you would be surprised, and then you label all of the negative attributes of things that you don't want them to do. You'd be surprised how many people would have to then go. So like if we talk about a spouse, so an easy one for spouse is if we're going into the spousal objection, you'll say, "Oh, okay." And so for you, I mean, is this something that like your wife is aware of that you're experiencing? They're like, "Oh yeah, for sure." It's like, okay, and it's like, is this a super secret mission, or are you like trying to figure this out on your own? And it sounds silly when you say super secret mission, but like they always will laugh of like, no, like she knows that I'm here and we're trying to figure out how to do it and everything like that. It's like, oh, awesome. Because you'd be surprised how many people like don't really have like someone who supports them in all this type stuff and they have to ask for permission to actually take care of their health. So it sounds like you'll have a really healthy relationship. And you just move into the next question. And so you actually labeled them as someone who has a healthy relationship that doesn't have to ask for permission. You always want to use the words permission for men because it kills them if you ever say that they have to get permission from their wife. They will fight back against it to maintain the label of not needing permission and that they have a good relationship, because people who have good relationships don't have to ask for spouse things on things that they've already approved. And so you won't have the I need to talk to my spouse. You won't have any of that stuff because you start to label it on the front end. And so there's a lot of that stuff that you can slowly kind of layer in over time. Or when someone says like they've been dealing with something for 6 months, it's like, oh, okay, so for 6 months, and you said that it's causing this issue, and like you're not able to do this. I always kind of have to ask this, what's making you reach out now versus like 6 months ago, knowing that you've been dealing with it for 6 months? And usually they'll either say pretty much like one of 3 things. It's getting worse, it's not getting better, or I finally just have time. Like I've just been so busy, I have time. The I have time is like the most common one that you hear from moms because like they're too busy taking care of their kids and their husband and everything else. It's like awesome, that makes sense. And you'd be surprised how many moms just like continue to focus on taking care of other people. And it's like when you're on the plane. Like, what's the very first thing they do when they come around and you have kids with you? What do they tell you to do with the oxygen? They put it on yourself first before you put it on your kids. And so I'm glad that you realize that sometimes you just finally have to take care of yourself. So that way you can actually make sure you can take care of everybody else. Because there's a lot of people that just keep pushing it down the road. And then you actually are labeling as a good mom. You're labeling as someone who has time now, and now's a good time. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Now you have time, and this is a priority for you to take care of your health. There's a lot of layers there. You'll have to listen back to this like 4 or 5 times. But like,
Mm.
if you can start to get to those things, you're no longer selling someone like shoulder pain or back pain or balance and fall or anything like that. You're selling them being a good mom. You're selling them being like a husband that's there providing for their wife that they're afraid if they fell, all of a sudden she couldn't take care of herself. You can get into very, very different level of sales, and that's why like I have someone that charges $375 a visit. Like she's so low and makes 700K a year. Yeah. No front office person, no other providers, $375 a visit. But it's because she gets to these like level 3 level of sales things and sells to the personal or identity level of these people because there's 3 levels of sales. There's level 1, which is pain. So I have shoulder pain. Level 2 is participation, which is it's preventing me from doing XYZ. I have shoulder pain that's preventing me from working out or from sleeping or from whatever. Level 3 is the personal or identity level. So I have shoulder pain. I'm not able to work out. Therefore, I don't feel sexy. Therefore, I feel like I'm not actually showing up the way I want to be the wife of my husband. Or I'm a little bit short because I haven't been able to sleep because every time I roll over, my shoulder hurts. And I'm a little bit short with my kids. I'm a little bit harder time actually holding my control over that. Some people won't get to level 3 without you sharing a damaging admission yourself, though. So you'd say it's like, hey, I haven't been able to sleep for a while, like because my shoulder's hurting, my back's hurting, whatever. It's like, totally understand that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And if you're anything like me, anytime I've had pain and stuff like that, like I get a little bit like short with my kids. Like I have issues kind of even showing up the way I need to at work. There's a bunch of different ways it kind of shows up. It's like the Snickers commercial. Like you're not you when you're hungry. It's like you're not you when you're in pain. And so for you, I guess, where's that showing up? So you tell them, hey, I'm a human too. I'm not perfect. You can lighten the mood by using the Snickers, actual kind of reference there. And then you say, where is that showing up? And then they'll typically tell you where it's actually showing up from a work or a personal or whatever. So you can gauge in what you say on your damaging admission of what you don't do based on the person you're talking to. So if the person's already talked about being busy at work and some of that type of stuff, you're naturally going to say, not really as present as I need to at work to actually like lead my team, to do this, to do that. Or if it's a mom, you're going to be like, I'm not able to actually be there. I'm a little bit short with my kids. I'm like really a little bit distracted because it's just hard to even be myself. But like, I guess for you, like, how's that showing up? And you'll notice I even put stutters there. I say, how's that showing up? So it doesn't seem like I effectively have this scripted out already. But when they share these things, you also have to make sure you connect with them as a human and not just go on to the next part of the script. You have to acknowledge and you have to thank them for opening up and sharing that. Because otherwise, they're going to essentially start to close down again. And if someone's not first open, they can't be closed. And so we have to acknowledge them, treat them as the person, tell them they appreciate them opening that. There's a lot of people that aren't willing to open up and actually share some of those things. It makes sense that you're on the call because it sounds like this is really impacting you a lot. And you'll notice I've said it a couple times. It makes sense you're on the call or it makes sense you're here because what we want to facilitate is the feeling of I'm in the right place at the right time. And other people have made similar decisions. So it makes sense why you're here. Oh, it makes sense why you're reaching out. Now's a good time for you to get it taken care of because before you were too busy and now you're seeing that it's something that you need to prioritize.